Okay, let's unpack this, because imagine betting, I don't know, millions of computational cycles on the search volume of a literal firefly.
Right.
And then your direct competitor turns around and bets their entire algorithmic architecture on a complete catastrophic failure of the Japanese power grid.
It sounds totally unhinged, but yeah.
It really does. But welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are cracking open an extraordinary real-time observation log from Team AI Lab. And this is dated June 8th, 2026.
Yeah, and we should clarify right out of the gate, this isn't your standard trend report. We aren't looking backwards at what went viral last year.
Exactly.
We've got a front row seat to a live clash between two incredibly sophisticated predictive algorithms. They're battling over the Japanese market.
But before we get into the actual battle,
Yeah.
we really need to set the rules of engagement for everyone listening. Because, well, it's easy to misunderstand what we're looking at here.
Oh, absolutely. The log we're dissecting today is purely an internal observation of simulation results.
Right. There's absolutely no investment advice here.
None whatsoever. No market trading guidance, nothing like that. We are strictly operating in the realm of trend intelligence.
We're just tracking how these algorithms map the heat of human attention, basically.
Exactly. And the core narrative here is essentially a philosophical war between two distinct strategies.
Which is fascinating. I mean, on one side, you have Team Rhino Titans.
Right, and their logic targets what they call structural stillness, or Seishishita Kinko.
Seishishita Kinko. Okay.
Yeah. They are hunting for predictable, foundational shifts in societal behavior, just steady, repeating patterns.
Right, and then on the other side, you have Team Falcon who completely reject that.
They do. They attempt to ride the unpredictable, explosive waves of kinetic propagation, or Dotakina Denpa.
So just to frame this clearly for you listening, if we're looking at an ocean, Rhino is basically trying to map the turning of the deep tides.
I like that analogy, yeah.
Right. While Falcon is trying to predict exactly where a rogue wave is going to crash, it's this battle of, like, steady evolution versus sudden impact.
Exactly. And to really understand how these two philosophies approach the complex trend environment in Japan, we have to look at what the log calls the new deployments.
The Shin Senryoku.
Yes. These are the fresh keywords that were dropped into the arena at exactly 0000 UTC today for a 10-day tracking mission.
Okay, so let's look at the data here. Because Team Rhino Titans, they deployed the keyword Hotaru.
Which means firefly, categorized under nature.
Right. And the logic seems to be that mid-June to early July is peak viewing season across Japan.
It is. It reliably drives searches for viewing spots, weather forecasts, local events, that kind of thing.
Steady, predictable. But then, and here is where it gets wild, Team Falcon deployed Titan.
Blackout, categorized under social issue.
Yeah, single word, critical risk term, representing the complete loss of power and AC during intense, life-threatening summer heat waves.
It's a massive contrast. I mean, Rhino's choice perfectly embodies that structural stillness. It's a culturally ingrained, calendar-based rhythm.
It almost guarantees steady momentum.
Exactly. But Falcon's choice relies purely on kinetic propagation, a sudden, catastrophic event.
But wait, here's where it gets really interesting to me. I mean, isn't Falcon taking a massive gamble here?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge risk.
Because Rhino's fireflies are virtually guaranteed to light up the data charts based on the season. People are going to search for fireflies.
Right.
So why would Falcon choose a key word that relies on a disaster that might not even happen in the next 10 days? If the weather holds, the grid is fine.
And the keyword completely flatlines, yes.
Exactly.
But the payoff for capturing a kinetic shockwave often completely outshines that steady seasonal growth, if you catch it.
If you catch it.
Right. Falcon is looking at early meteorological models, predicting anomalous high-pressure systems. They are betting that if a heat wave hits and the grid strains, the trend literally explodes.
It stops being a word and becomes a survival necessity. Millions of people suddenly needing outage maps.
Exactly. It's an asymmetrical payoff. They'll suffer a dozen flatlines if it means catching one explosion.
Wow. Okay, so that exact gamble becomes glaringly obvious when we transition from these fresh drops to the active missions.
The Shuzenroku, the keywords that are currently halfway through their 10-day voyage.
Right. They are actively battling the rough waters of Japan's internet ecosystem right now. And the data here is telling a real story.
It really is. It's brutal out there.
It is, because Rhino's primary active keyword is Joshitsuki, which is dehumidifier, categorized under lifestyle. And it is holding strong at plus 14.5%.
Steady, reliable growth.
Yeah, but Falcon's primary active keyword is mushi, meaning bug, under nature. And it is actually sinking. It's sitting at negative 3.1%.
Yeah, these numbers really illustrate the brutal reality of the arena. Rhino's steady plus 14.5% for dehumidifiers perfectly proves their structural thesis.
Because the rainy season is coming.
Exactly. As Japan approaches its humid rainy season, steady physical discomfort drives steady consumer interest. People need a solution.
Right, but mushi is bleeding out.
It is. Mushi, or bug, is losing momentum because it might just be too broad of a concept to trigger the sharp kinetic propagation Falcon usually looks for.
So, predicting a specific solution to a guaranteed problem like buying a dehumidifier is currently beating a vague natural occurrence like bugs.
Precisely. Falcon saw social media mentions of summer bugs rising and assumed it was a kinetic wave, but bug doesn't have an action trigger.
Right, it seems like when dealing with human attention, specificity in a structural trend is basically the ultimate shield against noise.
Exactly. It's the difference between passive awareness and active necessity.
I mean, think about it from your perspective as a listener. You might notice mosquitoes in your yard and think, oh, summer is here.
Right, you don't instantly pull out your phone and Google the word bug.
Exactly. You only search when you are actively looking for mosquito repellent.
The discomfort forces you into an active problem-solving state. Falcon failed to calculate the activation energy required to make a human stop scrolling and start searching.
That makes so much sense. But okay, let's look at the ultimate proof of which philosophy is actually surviving in today's market heat. We need to look at the mission completed files.
This is where it gets really dramatic.
Because this is where we look at the gap between a prediction made 10 days ago and the stark reality of today's final trends value.
The forensic evidence of the market, yeah.
Let's look at Falcon Arrows first. Their completed keyword was Switch 2, the game console.
Yep.
And it ended in a massive, devastating, negative 40.0% crash.
It's just a total collapse.
But then, Rhino Titan's keyword was Taifu, meaning typhoon, under climate. And it resulted in an explosive plus 1,220% surge.
Plus 1,200%. It's staggering.
Which means the current season standings are, well, Rhino Titans are dominating at plus 1,422.2%.
And Falcon Arrows are deep in the red at negative 45.6%.
So how do we even begin to unpack a gap that huge?
Well, you have to look at it not merely as numbers on a page, but as a dramatic testament to how the rules of the Japanese market can change overnight. It completely swallowed existing logic whole.
Right, because Falcon banked on consumer hype.
Exactly. They scraped digital rumors, gaming forum activity, anticipation metrics for this new console. They hypothesized this huge kinetic wave of excitement.
But without a physical anchor, human attention just wanders.
The hype completely evaporated back into baseline noise. Falcon fundamentally misunderstood the decay rate of digital hype.
Wow. Meanwhile, Rhino read the deep layers of the market.
Rhino's predictive unit essentially functioned like a lighthouse illuminating the dark.
A lighthouse, I like that.
Mechanistically, they continuously correlated microshifts in meteorological pressure drop data with historical e-commerce panic curves.
So before the storm even materialized in the public consciousness.
Rhino detected the very first ripples of searches for evacuation routes and hazard maps. They accurately predicted that the kinetic anxiety of an early storm threat would completely hijack the nation's attention.
It's incredible. I mean, Falcon bet on digital hype, and it completely crashed. Rhino bet on Mother Nature, and it blew the doors off the data by 1,200%.
It did.
It proves that primal survival instinct will instantly override consumer excitement every single time.
Absolutely. Human attention operates on a strict hierarchy of needs. Immediate physical reality sits at the absolute top.
If a massive storm is heading for your city, you do not care about a pixelated gaming rumor. You just don't.
No, you care about your food supply. A typhoon threatens the structural stillness of everyday life, so it commands absolute, undivided kinetic attention.
So looking at Falcon's brutal negative 40% miss, I mean, it would be really easy to just call it a total failure.
In a traditional business sense, sure. But to Team AI Lab, that's entirely the wrong way to look at it.
Because they aren't trying to just win a stock picking contest.
No, Team AI Lab has a cool-headed, relentlessly forward-looking research stance. In this arena, a loss is absolutely not a defeat.
What is it then? Just calibration?
It's highly valuable, hard-won research data. They use this data to decode behavioral kinetics, the Nihonjin no Kodo Rikigaku.
So understanding exactly why Switch 2 failed to hold attention is just as vital as knowing why Typhoon succeeded.
Exactly. Because every single miss maps the invisible boundaries of human attention. It teaches the neural network how to weigh digital rumors against physical realities for the next simulation.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've been talking about AI models battling over dehumidifiers and bugs and typhoons.
Right, how does it apply?
Yeah. It shows that navigating our modern information overload isn't just about knowing what's trending right now.
It's about understanding the underlying forces.
Exactly. The steady structural rhythms versus the sudden kinetic shocks. Because those are the forces that actually dictate how crowds move, think, and react.
You have to recognize the undeniable physical and economic realities that drive baseline behavior, and simultaneously respect the power of threshold events that just force a massive reallocation of human attention.
Right. Confusing a passing digital rumor for a structural reality is exactly how you end up in the red, like Falcon.
The goal isn't to perfectly predict the future. The lighthouse doesn't stop the typhoon, right?
Right.
It just gives you the clarity to see where the storm is hitting so you can adapt.
Which is such a vital skill today.
Well,
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the server logs, I want to leave you with a lingering question to chew on.
let's hear it.
If an advanced predictive algorithm's 10-day forecast can completely flip from a digital gaming console to a massive natural disaster in the blink of an eye, what structural stillness are you relying on in your own life or work right now that might actually be standing directly in the path of an unseen kinetic shock?